Welcome back to Alive to Thrive OT. I'm Tracy Schnabel and
I'm Lauren Lyman.
And today we're going to be talking about 9 hidden causes of depression. So go ahead and do the next slide.
Okay, so you guys already pretty much know who we are if you've seen our other videos. If you haven't, I definitely recommend checking them out. But basically, we're 2 occupational therapists. We noticed a gap in healthcare. We want to address this gap so that you can be empowered to improve your health. So our purpose, we've researched a lot about health topics, and we feel like, why should everybody do their own research and have to spend all this time? If we're researching for our own benefit, why don't we research for you? So we want to share our research with you. We're not here to tell you what to think, how to feel, but we are here to help you get to your own conclusions and ask your own questions about healthcare. So we do understand that it can be a little overwhelming or sometimes emotionally difficult when we present information that may conflict with beliefs that you previously held. So we try to be as sincere and compassionate as possible because we've been where you've been and we want to take you along this journey with us. So we are simply a stepping stone on your journey to truth. Real quick, legal disclaimer. All claims made on our podcast, videos, and websites are for informational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. We recommend contacting the appropriate medical professional for advisement on specific medical concerns. No warranties or representations are given in regard to any information presented, and we are not responsible for any injury or loss suffered from any viewing parties. Proceed at your own risk. Links are provided for informational purposes. However, we do not take responsibility for any additional information these websites and companies may provide regarding healthcare. If you think you may have a medical emergency, hang up and dial 911 immediately. All right, Tracy.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about 9 hidden causes of depression. So a lot of times you hear about depression and it sounds kind of scary, right? You're like, oh my gosh, if you've been diagnosed with depression or have a loved one and you're told, okay, you have to go on a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, that's pretty scary that you have to have the chemical and you'll have dependency on it. And it also is a little bit difficult for your liver to process through. So when I found out that there's hidden causes of depression and that they could be treated naturally, I was pretty excited about this. So I'm going to go over these things with you and you can present this to your doctor. Again, I'm not informing you to take any of these instead of your medications. I'm just letting you know your treatment options because knowledge is power, okay? So the building blocks of the brain. I didn't find out about this till much later, even though I have a medical background. So serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine are the 3 essential neurotransmitters involved in mental health. So they send signals, for you to have mood regulation, happy moods, relaxed moods, things like that, energy levels. They're all involved in that. And when they're low or high, it can throw off your mood levels. So the building blocks for neurotransmitters, which I didn't know until maybe a few years ago, is amino acids. I actually had a local chiropractor that was nutritionally certified, and he actually had amino acid therapy for people with depression and anxiety, which I thought was really interesting because I had never heard of amino acid therapy for people with depression. And amino acids are derived from proteins, so you can get that from your food. So you don't have to have these chemical drugs, which is really exciting with all these side effects. You can get it from your food if you know which foods you need and you're tested for which amino acids you're deficient in, which is what this one chiropractor did. So I thought that was really exciting. So proper neurotransmitter functioning equals proper nutrition. So this idea that food is your medicine also for psychological functioning, not only physiological. Okay, so number 1 hidden cause is lack of healthy fats. So omega-3 fats are important for neuron structure. So they help to form the neurons that do all these conducting in your brain for mood regulation. So this is like on a microbiology level. So if you have a diet lacking in healthy fats, it will often include unhealthy fat, trans fat, the bad fat. But you've all heard of good fats and bad fats. So we're talking about making sure you have the good fats. So a lot of like new diet trends are talking about like eat healthy fats. Well, these healthy fats are good for your body in multiple ways, including mental health. Why though? Trans fat increases inflammation, and inflammation is associated with so many diseases like cancer, heart disease, things like that.
Trans fat is the bad fat.
Yeah, trans fat is bad. Yeah. So yeah, just chime in whenever too. She knows a lot about this. So inflammation is connected to depression. So if we treat the inflammation, we treat the depression. Again, looking at the underlying cause. So there could be a lot of underlying causes for depression. So you don't want like a doctor or anyone to just not evaluate you completely. That's why you need to do blood work. And we've been learning a lot about functional medicine. Your functional medicine doctor will be able to do really thorough blood workup. So I would recommend, well, if it was me, I would go to a functional medicine doctor. So increasing omega-3s will reduce inflammation. You can find that in fish, but this is what I put buyer beware because a lot of fish, has mercury in it, and that's a toxin, and we're talking about reducing toxic exposure in your body. So you have to do like a risk benefit. Now there's certain fish that have more mercury in it than others, so you might want to look that up. Or you can also get there's like Whole Foods supplements that you can get that does not have the fish. They use other things. Like, what were you talking about?
So fish, the same way we look at protein, we get protein from animals, right? So if your protein's low, everyone's like, oh, eat more meat, eat more meat. But where do animals get their protein? How are animals high in protein? They get it from plants. So you can skip the animal and go right to the plant. Same concept with fish. Your omega-3s, where are they getting their omegas? They're getting it from algae. So you can actually take an omega supplement that comes straight from the algae. So one, it's not fish. So for me, certain fish make me really sick. So certain omegas make me really, really sick, like lightheaded, sweaty, gross. And so I don't like to take omegas, but I found a plant whole food nutrition, plant-based omegas, makes me feel great. I don't have any side effects from it, and I'm bypassing that fish, so my chances of mercury exposure, don't even have to worry about that.
And if you're interested more in that, you could just send us an email because we are a part of a distributor that we could connect you to. Okay, I think that was the end of that slide, so we're going to go to the next one. Number 2, they found is iodine deficiency. It's important for thyroid function, and your thyroid controls your metabolic function and a lot of other things in the body. It's really important that your thyroid is working properly. And a lot of people they found were iodine deficient. They said that average intake has reduced from 800 milligrams to 138 to 350. So good sources include seaweed and iodized salt. They said mid-grade sources were like milk, yogurt, and eggs. So again, risk benefit. So like with milk, there's also a lot of fats. So you kind of have to weigh it. And then yogurt, you don't want to get like the sweetened yogurts and the yogurts that have artificial flavoring. Yeah, sugar is not good. So again, you could talk to a nutritionist about this. You can talk to your doctor about it. They are really educated about it. As occupational therapists, we look at the underlying cause of disease. We look at educating you about your disease and educating you about how to be an advocate for yourself. So I'm just informing you of these possibilities so you could go back and talk to your physician and get specialized care. Okay, zinc. Zinc deficiency is another problem. Zinc is involved in 250 biochemical pathways in your brain. That's a lot. So if you have a zinc deficiency, you're going to have problems with brain function. So good sources that they found were oysters, crab, chicken, beef, lamb, legumes, cashews. And again, the good quality whole food supplements will have this. Ask us more about that on our email if you have a question about that. And then if you do choose to get your zinc source from meat, you want to go with organic meats because as we talked about in previous videos, if it's not organic, they might be feeding the animals things that are not appropriate for their digestive tract, and that could cause them to have actually more bacteria, and then you're ingesting that bacteria because they're not ridding themselves of it. So an example, they used to feed the cows like corn because we have an excess of corn in the United States, and that's not really appropriate for them. So it's grass-fed organic better.
And always hormone free, which I think most stuff is, hopefully, these days.
Yeah, and I know they're also like giving a lot of animals antibiotics because they were in really nasty conditions. They were just packing them into factories. They weren't like on these beautiful farms that they picture. So they gave them antibiotics instead of cleaning the areas. So it's better to get organic. That's why. So I had a lot of friends that are like, oh, you're foo-foo shishi with your organic. No, it makes perfect sense. You don't want that stuff in your body. Okay, so zinc is essential for your immune system function, and it's good for your digestive tract. An interesting fact, 90% of serotonin and 50% of dopamine is produced in the intestines. So
Not
she's
the
gonna,
brain.
yeah, what?
And I have a video on this that
Yeah, that's what I
I
was
just
gonna say.
released last
Yeah.
week. So we'll put a link at the end of this video if you want to read more about how the gut influences your health. It talks about a lot of these things in a little different detail.
So yeah, you have like 20 feet, I think, of intestines, and so your gut is lined in the intestine membrane, and so your immune system operates in there. So all the nutrients that you absorb or don't absorb as a result of how you eat. So when you're eating a diet full of fruits and vegetables, you're pushing it through your digestive tract, and you're able to absorb more nutrients and expel more bacteria. But we'll talk about that later in her gut presentation.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's a little bit... It's not as easy as just eat this, eat this, eat this, eat this. Immunity and diet are heavily related and they affect one another. And there are a couple different factors. There's kind of a triad of factors that I go into in my presentation where sometimes it's not enough to just have a good diet. You have to have a good balance of lifestyle, diet, immunity, things like that. So check out that presentation. It'll be linked at the end.
Excited. Okay, magnesium deficiency. I was just at a presentation where a social worker actually found the link between, depression, anxiety, and magnesium deficiency. So she was working with a lot of psychiatrists that also had that interest in looking at how our nutrition affects our mental health. And she advocates for a lot of her patients to be tested for these things because it's so important to really identify the underlying cause. And a lot of her coworkers, colleagues were like, you're crazy. A social worker doesn't belong, dealing with nutrition. Like a lot of people will say an occupational therapist doesn't belong in nutrition, but we all look at healthy lifestyle factors and routines that contribute to you overcoming problems that you have and empowering you to be able to live your healthiest life. So again, I'm not going to tell you how much you should take or what your blood levels look like, but I'm going to tell you that this could be a reason for why you're having these symptoms, tell you how to better understand your disease and how to advocate for yourself. So magnesium activates enzymes needed for serotonin, like we were talking about before, dopamine, and norepinephrine production. So it's important to get these vital chemicals going. It's like the jump starter for them. And it's involved in over 300 chemical pathways. So that's a lot, right? It also helps with bone health, reducing anxiety, we talked about that earlier, lowering blood pressure, and reducing your risk of diabetes. So it's very important. It's very important in your muscular function too. So good food sources are nuts and seeds, dark green vegetables, whole grains, bran, and dark chocolates. Also, I think people are starting to get the hint about this. A lot of doctors are aware of this now, vitamin D deficiency. So most of us are actually vitamin D deficient. Lauren, were you taking a vitamin D supplement? Because we were in, yeah. Sometimes when you're in work conditions where you're not exposed to sunlight a lot, which is a lot of us, working from computers nowadays, you're not getting vitamin D. So that's important for a lot of other diseases, but also for your mood. So that's something you should have checked out.
And I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I spend a lot of time outside with my son, and I still need vitamin D supplementation. So you'd be amazed how much vitamin D you actually need. And it is kind of hard to get it from the sun all the time. Well, one, if you wear sunscreen, I'm not saying don't wear any sunscreen, but if you wear sunscreen wherever you have that sunscreen, it's going to block the UVA and B rays. That's what you want, right? Prevent cancer. Well, you're preventing skin cancer if you were to get fried outside, but you're also blocking the sun. You're blocking vitamin D. So now vitamin D is needed for immunity, which is also needed to prevent cancer. So risk benefit analysis here. If I go outside with my son after 3 p.m., I'm not going to put sunscreen on him. If we're out at 9 in the morning for half an hour, we're not wearing sunscreen. Not saying don't wear sunscreen. I don't know how you burn. We tan slowly, so that's what we do. I mean, if we're going to be outside all day, sure, sunscreen, but there's kind of a shift in this epidemic of people are so afraid of skin cancer that everyone's wearing sunscreen all the time, and now everyone's vitamin D deficient. So more often than not, you're going to need a vitamin D supplement, but check your blood levels, talk to your doctor about it.
Thank you, Lauren.
Because too much vitamin D can be bad for you too, so don't go and arbitrarily take a supplement.
Oh yeah, I've heard of people doing that. Again, defer to your doctor for the amount you need based on your blood work. So yes, vitamin D deficiency is linked to depression, anxiety, dementia, seasonal affective disorder. So lots of things. And natural sources include fish oil such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring, trout, and eggs. But again, if you're going to have those, look at how much mercury is in it. And then we were talking about sunlight, is important, but the way around it is like, don't go during peak times like noon where the sun is the strongest, and just get outside in nature. The key here is that we're intricately connected to nature. So get out in nature, get the sunlight, ground yourself. We talk about that in another video. Take off your shoes and just walk on the earth. That's also connected with improved states of being. It's as simple as that. And it sounds almost ridiculous, but try it. See how you feel. Okay, selenium. I didn't know about this till I read this article. It's good for thyroid function, and it's also a deficiency, and that is associated with increased depression. So food sources for selenium is Brazilian nuts, fish, liver, and chicken. Again, if you're going to get like chicken, try to get organic. It aids in the compound glutathione, which is an antioxidant. So it helps your cells to not degrade. It helps support cellular health, basically. So increased glutathione equals decreased depression. And then number 7, iron deficiency. So it's more common in women than men because of menstruation. And then also, like, people diagnosed sometimes with anemia, they could be misdiagnosed. They have anemia, but they're misdiagnosed with depression, and they're given, a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SSRI, and it's just anemia.
Which is just a medication for depression.
Yeah, thank you. So they mimic, the symptoms are similar. Like somebody with anemia may have fatigue, irritability, apathy, brain fog, lack of motivation, poor appetite, which are also symptoms of depression. So that's why it's good to see a functional medicine doctor, because we're going to look at all those factors. Also, eating foods with vitamin C along with iron has been shown to help with absorption in your gut. Number 8, I think a lot of people have heard of this, vitamin B deficiency. So I noticed a lot of doctors in the hospital were starting to prescribe this to my patients. So you could ask your doctor about this as well. So they were recommending in this article, the B complex includes 11 B vitamins. So there's not just one, there's a whole assortment of B vitamins that do different things. And they're all involved in neurotransmitter production. Again, so on that micro level, it's important for you to have this. B12 is important for your brain mass. So with dementia, your brain mass starts to degrade. So helping the integrity of your brain be maintained, it's important in that. B12 deficiency is commonly associated with symptoms of depression. Other vitamins that are involved with mental health are B1, B6, B3, and folate. Folate plus B12 plus B6 helps to lower homocysteine, which is a byproduct of metabolism connected with an increased risk of depression. B vitamins are found in the following foods: whole grains, nuts, again, those dark green vegetables. I'm telling you, I had so many patients with so many different diagnoses, and every time I would do a lot of research on it, I would see the dark green vegetables as really important. So get those into your diet. I've heard a lot of dietitians say, if you're really bad at eating, at least get like one salad in a day, at least. Again, we also have a whole food supplement. If you're interested, contact us, because you're supposed to be getting, 10 fruits and vegetable servings a day. Most people can't do that with how busy our lifestyle is. So sometimes the whole food supplement can help you get that. Oh, vitamin C deficiency. So a lot of people aren't getting enough vitamin C. Vitamin C deficiency can cause scurvy, bleeding, swollen gums, and depression. So where do you get vitamin C from? Citrus, kiwi, bell peppers. You can get that at the local grocery store. And vitamin C, it's so important too for your immune system functioning. I know when I used to work home health, I'd ask a nurse sometimes when I would get sick, you know, what should I do? Like, I have to go see patients, but I'm starting to get like the normal, you know, whatever sickness during the seasons. And she'd be like, vitamin C, I'll take that vitamin C. So it's really important. 20% of the population has a gene mutation that does not allow them to properly absorb and metabolize the vitamin. So again, you should be checked out for this and see what your doctor can do for you. So just a note about this article is it was by David Cook. He is an integrative medicine dietitian. He has 15 years of experience. I got the article from Lauren, and I just thought it had some really great information that actually coincided with a lot of things I had researched with some of my patients in the past like 5 years. And I thought it was really good information for you to have, because I don't think the general public really knows that depression can be linked with, you know, deficiencies in vitamins and different minerals. So he got his information from a food science journal, and it was looking at mitochondrial function, so like biological function based on what you eat, so what happens at the cellular level. And I just thought it was extremely interesting and empowering for you to have this information. So I hope you take it, and I hope it helps you, and I hope that you have a better perspective on depression now. And that's it. Thank you very much.
So if you want to learn more about how food can influence your health, I'm going to go through the top 5 reasons why the gut should get all the glory. So click here. You can access the video there. And please like our video, subscribe to our channel, share our videos on your personal page, get the word out to everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at alive2thriveot@gmail.com. Like Tracy said, you can ask us for any of our PowerPoints. You can also ask us how to get more fruits and vegetables into your life pretty easily. And check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lauren and Tracy.
We're here to help.
We are here to help. So thank you all for listening, and we are wishing you physical, emotional, and spiritual health and wellness. Take care.
Bye.